Mr. McGowan doesn't have to stay all night with us.
Oh, great, thank you.
Madam Chair, Jason, do you want to give a quick, brief overview of the item 15, and if the council has any questions for you or Pat? Does anyone know Pat McGowan? Has everyone met Pat from Miller Canfield?
I think it's been a couple years since I was here. I've worked with the city and its related entities on bond and finance matters. So I think I was last year when we did a refinancing in 2015.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm just going to turn it over to Pat. Pat, if you want to just give a brief overview of what's going on here with the Brownfield
Sure.
bonds.
Great. So basically what we're doing here is we're taking action to refinance some existing bonds that the Brownfield Authority issued over 10 years ago. There's actually two different series. And as you know, the Brownfield Authority issues bonds for various redevelopment projects that are payable from tax increment revenues. And those are generally backed and supported by the city's full faith and credit. And essentially there were a couple different bond issues that were looking at refinancing because of the lower interest rates in the market and the ability to call in these bonds early. The first one is really the last piece of a 2005 bond issue for the Island Lakes project. You may recall that in 2015 we refinanced the larger tax exempt portion, and there was a taxable bond issue that paid for a lot of improvements on that project that now, with the interest rates where they are, make it feasible to save money with the refinancing. And that's being talked about as part of the Series 2016A financing. And then there was another bond issue in 2006, which was actually for three different Brownfield projects. It was for the Chelsea Park Apartments, it was for the Walmart site on Telegraph Road, and then the Midtown Condominium project at Goddard and Pardee. So essentially what a refunding bond is refinancing by issuing new bonds today to pay off the old bonds and take advantage of lower interest rates, kind of like refinancing your mortgage. That's the same sort of economic concept. In both cases, the city had pledged its full faith and credit. So that means that if for any reason tax increment revenues are short in the Brownfield plans, the city has to pay that out of its general fund. And actually, in the case of Island Lakes, that's been happening for a while. And the tax increments on the other project have been not as strong as anticipated in recent years too. So there is a benefit to the city. So essentially what the city is being asked to do at your meeting is to adopt a resolution which I prepared as your bond attorney, which essentially confirms the pledge of the city's full faith and credit for those refunding bonds, which would allow the city to essentially reduce its exposure to that existing debt. The bonds can legally only be issued if the city and the Brownfield Authority save money, and that's after payment of all issuance costs and related. We would not be looking, the Brownfield Board approved the bond resolution at its meeting last week. So if approved by the City Council, that would allow us to move forward with preparing the financing documents, going to get ratings, and formalizing the process to be looking to sell bonds sometime in November with a closing in December. So we don't know what the interest rates are today, but based on the current market, according to the numbers prepared by the underwriter, the city and the Brownfield Authority would be looking at generating savings of about 7% of its existing debt service in the aggregate between the two issues. I'll let Jason talk a little bit about what that means to the city and the Brownfield Authority. This would be the only action item needed by the City Council. If approved by you, that would allow the Brownfield officials to go forward to market and sell the bonds, and again, be in a position to sell sometime in November with the closing in December. So with that, I'll stop talking, maybe let Jason talk about the financial impact or answer any questions.
Yes, and through the chair, so basically, when you're looking at refinancing, the industry average that you look at is a 3% return on your net present value savings. If you don't have anything higher than that or at that, it doesn't make sense to do any kind of refinancing. So with the numbers on the current market being about 7% net present value savings, again, our underwriter approached us and said it was a good time to try to refinance these two taxable issues, move forward. So basically, when we look at the two projects, the true cash savings on the Island Lakes is, it's not a significant amount, nothing that's going to turn any eyes. I think it would maybe been like $6,000 a year. But the more credible cash flow savings, which is about $20,000 a year, is in the under three issuances. We have those three sites are right now the Walmart site is capturing enough tax revenue to pay its bond debt, for sure, so that they're in good shape. The Midtown and the Chelsea Parks, the tax increment revenue is not enough to pay its bond payments. Even with this refinancing, it'll give them some help there, but they're still going to be short, and I don't have the exact number, but still short on their annual bond payment. So what happens is that annual shortfall is being paid for with the Brownfield loan fund. Because what happens in brownfields is that after the development is finished, you can capture up to 5 years of tax increment revenues to put into a fund that you can use that for brownfield type expenditures. And for the past few years, we've been using that fund to pay for that shortfall. And the amount of shortfall is, you know, it's not a significant number. I think the amount's like, I think it's 50,000 in total. So not a significant amount of number. But if we didn't have that revolving loan fund, then that $50,000 would have to come from general fund. So now what we're saying is that that $50,000 is going to be down to $30,000 with this refinancing on an annual basis, because you know, because if we refinance, it's going to save us cash flow. So that's what it does there. And the main reason why the sites are not making their bond payments is because Midtown. Some people on the Brownfield board remembered, but on the Midtown, there was a huge, not Midtown, but Chelsea Park, there was a huge MTT adjustment back in, I think it was 2008 or 9, they won a MTT adjustment that lowered their taxable value by a significant amount. So that's why we're not capturing what we thought we would capture from that site. So that's why the bond payments are there. And then Midtown is really just shy of its bond payments, and that's just because of the market value going down in 2008-9. So ultimately, what this does, it does help out general fund, because that revolving loan fund won't be around forever to make those payments, the insufficient payments. So what this is going to do is down the road is going to save about $20,000 in general fund guaranteed for those brownfields if their tax values are not enough to pay for it. So that's basically it in the bottom line. And like I said, Brownfield passed it. Councilman Johnson part of the Brownfield, and like I said, there wasn't too much discussion. They seemed excited. And again, if the market, because the market, you know, if the rates increase, you know, in the market before pricing, then, you know, we'll put the project on hold. It's not a definite. So that's it. Any questions for me or Pat?
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Thank you.
The first thing we'll start with tomorrow night is the opening of the public hearing to determine the streetlight special assessments in Taylor. We'll then ask if there's any interested parties, then we will close the public hearing and then vote on it. 6, 7, and 8. Did you have any questions for Mr. Markey on this?
Is this open? Or is this mayor's communication? First strike?
What is it?
This is the animal shelter agreement.
I ain't giving you those.
You didn't get one? The animal shelter agreement?
Oh, the MOU, yeah, I emailed it to everyone.
Okay, I just didn't print it. Sorry.
Linda, you don't have one?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
I ran out on Thursday before you gave those.
So are we voting on the street lighting tomorrow? You don't say that.
No, I think it's just the open and
Just
close
open
tomorrow.
and close the meeting.
Right.
My
That'll be
understanding.
next time.
Madam Chair, Councilman Johnson, what's going to happen tomorrow is the city council will vote on the need to levy a special assessment to the taxpayers in December. That will happen tomorrow.
Where is that on our, I don't see it on the agenda unless I'm.
Is that number 8? No, that's Mary Street.
It's not on the agenda.
I missed that part of it, so I apologize. But it was a public hearing to discuss the necessity of streetlight special assessment. And then council will vote to, I get it, which I did not give council, it's all draft for you tonight or tomorrow. Thank you, Councilman Johnson.
Yeah, it's just, there's nothing on there.
Who actually,
We're open and closing
to actually approve a streetlight special
So
assessment.
that would almost be a number
I can
8.
amend the agenda, we can add it.
We can make it.
Or we can open business.
Okay, we got the president of open business.
Mr. Markey, can you give Michelle the language on that item tomorrow? We can,
Can we just do that in open business? I mean,
it should be right
Yeah,
after
it should,
the
but that's
opening
what I
and
was
closing, yeah.
Yeah, if we're gonna open and then close, we should vote that.
Mhm.
Well, we can add it with, you know, once we do the,
Or just let everybody know that we will be voting on it at the end.
We can make it,
the first time.
8A just for the sake of giving a number tomorrow night, and then when we do the minutes, we'll just insert it in order. That'll work.
can we number it that way?
Oh, not 8A, but 7A,
Okay.
just to give it a number, because it's not, we're not gonna fix the agenda now anyway.
No.
And then, Madam Chair, if I could, to the council, just to reconfirm what council already is aware of, we will not be setting costs tomorrow. It's just setting the need to levy a special assessment.
Right.
You'll come back with those costs.
Correct.
Thank you.
We'll just slip that in. All right, let's go back to 5A. This is an agreement to partner with Lincoln Park.
Madam Chair, it is. We were approached by Lincoln Park to possibly take in some of their stray animals. They don't have a shelter. They were part of the Downriver Animal Shelter Group. I don't know who that all consists of. I think Allen Park, Southgate, Wyandotte. We had Matt and Glenn work on a cost analysis, and we developed a per animal rate that would cover our loaded cost. The way it's set up is Lincoln Park will pre-fund $25,000. They will pay $100 per animal, and then the account can never dip below $10,000. So once they have to stay at a $10,000 balance, and what that does for the city of Taylor is it protects against any potential litigation. So in the event we're holding a dog that is, being quarantined for a court order, it could go on for 6 months, and we have a rate that we charge back for that. So we always have a fund balance that's there to protect the city of Taylor.